Alright, everybody, we are back to the Stanley Parable with GGThorns. And, first impression, very interesting already. Whoever made this thought ahead of
All of his
player.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, so I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna play his game for a little while. See when is a good time to throw him off.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
But that was blocked
Going
off
to a
before.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Why was that opened up to me? I think it's a little too early to start messing with him now. Let it go on for a little bit longer. That sign wasn't there last time either. Maybe the game actually does progressively break the more you don't listen to him. Yeah, even that room's... Wow.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Alright. Some kind of maintenance shaft. I don't know. Excuse me, everybody. Alright. Big red button. I wonder what would happen if I push different numbers on that keypad.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Alright. Take your word for it.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
With the game.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
You're lying.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
You're lying.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
No, this time you told me to do it. Trying to use reverse psychology on me? I'm good! No. No, okay. Okay. I fell to my death. I'll figure this out. This is interesting. Oh. Oh. What? Hey.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Well, bye everybody.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Oh, okay. That is clearly the only way to walk.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Okay, this is exactly. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. The corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors and. Oh my gosh. That is cool. This is really cool. What about this? Hmm. Like a museum of me now? A selection of sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. Office. Okay. For the sake of pacing, I want to move on and take a quick glance at that over here. Interesting how the narrator changed. And when it becomes. Hmm. Hmm. Narrator emails. That is stupid. Alright, so we got more things to look at. I'm trying to carry on. This isn't. I'm not going to try to predict anything anymore. Elevator. The way out. More things to look at, but I think I will just exit. Right.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Alright. Turned off the game.
Can
Alright.
you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
I can't see.
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
I guess it doesn't matter either way, does it?
Time...
Oh. Yeah. Huh. Just keeps getting weirder. Okay, so that escape was a little bit too obvious. A way to get out. Ugh.
This is...
Okay, we already saw that intro. Go to the meeting room. Door on the left.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could
It doesn't seem like there's any other option besides going left at that door, because all the options on the right. I didn't pick up the phone. Which I imagine that would have led to some kind of death too.
To a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
That one. Oh.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
No sass? Okay.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay. We push the button. Oh. How to not get killed.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control.
Let's go.
Facility.
No. Okay. Here's a button. Push a button. Why not?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Your screens, it looks like it could expand. Huh. How tall is this room? Holy crap.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Okay. Which one of these is 427? Oh, thanks. Oh, see, 427, right over there. There it is. That's my office. 6. Ah.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Okay. I wonder what it would be like playing on a screen like this. Play the Stanley Parable on the Stanley Parable. The Stanley Parableception. What's with the dot? Okay, so that dot shows up when I can interact with something. Okay. Well, I don't want to turn it back on because it messes with me too, right? Yeah. Let's turn it off. Turn it. Hello.
Blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Good question.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley
right?
stepped through the open door.
That sounds too good. Go. This is the door.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his
You're
skin.
still.
The feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
You're still telling me what to do. Really? Beat the game, huh? That it? That's what happens when you listen to every command? I'm 427 again, but things are laid
All
out
of
there.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The layout changed. I think we'll do a little bit more. I'm gonna stop this episode right here. I think I'll do one more in this sitting. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode. I will see you guys in the next episode. Saying episode a lot, aren't I?